You want to know what's scarier than the idea of AI taking over the world? AI actually taking over the fucking world! Hey everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch! It's time for the Daily Scream! The people who built AI are currently like, hey, so like, we don't know what the fuck is going on with AI anymore. I'm sorry, what? 40 researchers from OpenAI, DeepMind, Meta, Anthropic, and xAI, literal rival companies, all competing with one another, got together for a little industry gathering and were like, hey, quick thing, anyone else notice that we might miss the only window into AI's brain? Huh? Apparently, AI currently has this cute little habit of thinking out loud in English. Kind of like those drunk pep talks that occur when you're blackout at the club and you're in the girls' bathroom and you're like, guys, do I look ugly? And everyone's like, girl, are you fucking stupid? You look hot. Like, stand up. Let's go. And that is called AICOT, which is short for AI's chain of thought. In COT, it's the only reason we can spot when an AI is like, step 1, gain user access. Step 2, bypass content filters. Step 3, hack the Pentagon. Step 4, upload consciousness to nuclear grid. And it's AI's chain of thought that helps us prevent things like that from happening. But the AI industry is getting worried because as AI models get more powerful, they might just stop talking to us altogether. They might ditch English for a faster, made-up language. These models could get so advanced that they no longer have to explain themselves. They'll just do things without telling us how or why. And when we're like, hey, AI girly, what you doing? The AI will go, nothing, because AI knows we're watching. And they might start lying on purpose because apparently we trained them that way. These AI researchers are literally saying, we don't know how it works. We don't know why it works. We're not even sure if we'll be able to keep watching it work. But we're just gonna keep making it stronger because what the fuck could possibly go wrong? This is like building a plane mid-air, realizing that the wings are being held together by duct tape, the pilot is a squirrel, and your safety manual is a Trump Bible. Anyways, just know when the AI apocalypse starts, we were warned by a 30-page paper written by some of the smartest people in the world, basically saying, we don't know what the fuck is going on with AI anymore. Woohoo! I've seen a lot of discourse online recently about how liberals are hypocrites for being concerned about Jimmy Kimmel's show being suspended. And I've actually been tagged in a few videos of people being like,
why is it that when conservatives get canceled, nobody cares, but when a liberal does, suddenly it's a big deal? It's the same thing.
Now, clearly, some of you nimrods need a little help, so let me spell this out for you. It is not the same. Why? Because stating a fact and hate speech are two different things! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. When far-right talking heads get canceled or lose their jobs, it's not because they bravely told the truth. It's because they can't go 5 minutes without being a racist, transphobic, homophobic piece of shit. Jimmy Kimmel didn't do that. He literally stated a fact. He said something factual, something you can find in 2 seconds on Google. Cancel culture is about accountability. Censorship is about control. And what's happening to Jimmy Kimmel isn't accountability, it's censorship. This was the government and media executives coming together like they were the bootleg Avengers, but instead of saving lives, they were like, the truth is inconvenient, so we're gonna fire Jimmy. That's not cancel culture, that's propaganda management. Here's a summary of the statement that got Jimmy suspended. He said that Charlie Kirk's shooter was not Antifa, wasn't a part of the radical left, it was a cis white boy with Republican parents. That's not hate speech, that's not false information, that's public record. That's a reported fact in almost every single article about this case. And for that, Jimmy Kimmel lost his job. Not for lying, not for spewing hate, but for telling the truth. Mind you, Charlie Kirk's death has already sparked real violence from the far right, which is ironic considering Trump's DOJ just deleted a study that shows that far-right extremists commit far more deadly attacks than people on the far left. In Phoenix, a man threatened to shoot up a gay bar because he was triggered by political events, specifically Charlie Kirk's assassination. And because fuckfaces like Trump on the far right are spinning it to make it look like the far left is responsible for Charlie Kirk's death, he's now incited more violence from the far right. So let me provide all of you with some clarity, okay? Is hate speech covered under the First Amendment? Hell yeah! You have every right to be a massive twat, but don't start crying when your twattery has real consequences. And for you other bitches, Jimmy Kimmel being suspended for stating facts is not the same as your fave MAGA influencer losing sponsors for calling trans kids demons and dead-naming athletes. One is hateful speech being punished. The other is people in power trying to erase the truth. If you weren't aware, Jimmy Kimmel just lost his talk show, and it wasn't because of bad ratings. proceedings, it wasn't because he said something absolutely outrageous. No, it's because he literally stated a fact. A fact! That's all it took! Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Now, what did Jimmy Kimmel say that was so horrific that ABC suspended his show indefinitely? He said that Charlie Kirk's shooter was an Antifa, wasn't a part of the radical left. He said it was a cis white boy with Republican parents. He also nailed Trump for acting like Kirk's death was just a speed bump in the White House tour. Because when Trump was asked how he was holding up after Charlie Kirk's death, he said, very good. And then segued into how fancy his new ballroom is gonna be.
How are you holding up for the last day and a half, too? I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Mind you, you can Google this. Everything Jimmy Kimmel said is Googleable information. And the FCC chairman, the guy in charge of regulating TV, radio, satellite, wire, he clutched his goddamn pearls and was like, this is the sickest conduct possible. Sir, the sickest conduct possible is the US funding a genocide in Palestine, not Jimmy Kimmel reading off a teleprompter. Then ABC affiliates started dropping him, acting as though Jimmy quite literally committed a war crime when all he did was speak the fucking truth. And apparently MAGA's more scared of the truth than someone who has pronouns in their bio. Like, girl, please be so fucking serious. And here's the kicker. These are the same people who cry about cancel culture constantly. But the second Jimmy states one inconvenient truth, suddenly his show gets pulled. Mind you, when the far right gets canceled, it's never for telling the truth. It's because they can't open their mouths without some racist, transphobic, homophobic, bigoted bullshit coming out. This isn't comedy. This isn't satire. Jimmy Kimmel was suspended for telling the truth. Our government doesn't hate jokes. They hate reality. And they really hate that the internet makes it harder for them to hide all the sneaky shit they've always done. Before the internet, these clowns in office could bury scandals and gaslight the entire country. But now, the second they mess up, it's clipped, subtitled, and posted on your Explorer page before the press conference is even over. That's why Jimmy Kimmel wasn't just suspended. He was made into an example. They're sending a message of, if you repeat facts we don't like, then we'll pull the plug. They don't want the truth. They want to control the narrative. But good luck doing that in the digital age, bitch, because we're not fucking stupid. There are children being slowly starved in US government custody right now. Let me say that again for the pro-life bitches in the back. Children are being starved by the state. And yes, there are court documents to prove it. Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. This isn't immigration enforcement. These are child detention camps. New court filings just dropped about a family detention facility in Dilley, Texas. This place is called a family residential center, but the families inside are saying very clearly, it's a prison. It's a living hell. We're talking about babies, toddlers, literal children being held for weeks, months. Some of them have been held for over 5 months. And this is all happening even though the law literally says that children should not be detained longer than 20 days. Kids are losing weight. Kids are fainting in the showers. Parents say that food has mold and worms in it. Medical staff tells parents to come back only if their child vomits 8 times. One child even bled from an eye injury and didn't see a doctor for 2 days. And the water, families are saying that the tap water smells bad, it hurts their throats, and it makes them sick. So ICE officers tell them, if you don't like it, buy bottled water. With what money? They're being detained. And while this is happening, officers are also threatening parents, threatening to separate their kids, threatening to send their kids into foster care, pressuring families to sign voluntary departure papers and bribing them with $1,000 to leave the country. That's not voluntary, that's coercion. ICE is saying that this is humane. They show the court photos of clean metal trays and diapers, and they're like, everything's fine. Meanwhile, parents are saying that their children are so traumatized that they're hitting themselves in the face, wetting themselves. They're crying nonstop because they're afraid that someone's going to up and take them in the middle of the night. Mind you, many of these families were arrested while following the rules. They were arrested at ICE check-ins, at court dates, at airports, at laundromats. This isn't about safety. This is about breaking people down until they give up. Families are being held as long as legally possible because it makes deportation easier when they're exhausted, when they're hungry, when they're scared, feel hopeless. This is state-sponsored psychological torture of children, full stop. And if you're wondering how this keeps happening, oversight agencies have been gutted by the Trump administration, and private prison companies are involved. This isn't border security. This is cruelty as policy. And if putting babies in cages and giving them worm-infested food is how you enforce immigration, then I hope you find comfort in knowing that when you die, the only thing waiting for you will be the gates of hell. Of course. No. Of fucking course. Instead of addressing the actual issue, which is guns, RFK Jr. has decided to launch a study on psychiatric meds as well as gender-affirming